Hello and welcome to Conversations with YCO Chat Torchbearers. And we have the pleasure, privilege, and honor of Padma Shri Chef Sanjeev Kapoor amongst us. Uh, Chef Kapoor, a very warm welcome
Thank you
to
very
this podcast.
Thank you.
Chef Kapoor, in your so many, of course, years as an iconic chef and a leader in the culinary world, uh, how would you assess the evolution of the YCO over the years, and what have been the learnings, and how have you seen it grow?
Right. First of all, thank you, Sujoy, for having me here.
Pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me. In terms of YCO Young Chef Olympiad, I have seen it grow from a thought to becoming a thought leader.
Right.
I think that's a big journey that has happened, and I made a comment as I walked into the kitchen where the finals are happening and contestants are cooking there. This is the best smelling kitchen ever for YCOs. So remember, I've been walking in,
Fantastic.
right? So because that's the thing as a chef. It's the you have to have the nose for food. So uh, dishes are not ready, but what I can see, I can smell, I can hear, I can feel.
Right.
So I can say the way it is smelling the best, the results would also be best. What has it done over the years is that it has done two things clearly. Has brought in, I think, excellence into culinary in the education area.
Right.
Because unless people start taking excellence seriously, they would not become excellent when they get into real world.
For sure. Yes.
Right. So that is something which YCU has enabled that, and not just enabled for IIHM, which is the curator of YCU, but it has shown the path for the Culinary Institute, Educational Institute, Hotel Management Institutes worldwide. And collectively over the years, close to about 100 countries are impacted by it. Correct. So that's a big thing. And in a area where over the years there is so much of interest that is happening in food, and food is not just what when people studies at a culinary institute or a hotel management institute, it's not that they only become chef at a hotel or a restaurant.
Yes.
It's so much more. It could be in airline, which seems predictable,
Or in cruise liners.
cruise liners, again predictable.
Yes.
The retail is something that is there. Hospitals, that food is a part which touches everyone. And the biggest category is the business of food, and that could be a very small entrepreneurship role,
Yes. Yes.
which is something which was not there. And I think YCO has a large role to play, and has played over the years in this kind of conversion, where young kids are seeing the world of food beyond just what they were seeing.
And research, yes. Actually, Dr. Suborno Bose, Chairman IIHM, has this phrase, culinary diplomacy,
Yes,
which many of the greats like you have also kind of espoused or put it. And we see that when countries come here, they don't come as representatives of just their colleges, but their countries,
that's right.
and they fly that flag very proudly.
That's correct.
And over the last few days, I've also seen a lot of laughter and tears and heartbreaks, people losing out, which also kind of tells us the kind of investment that they've made into this and the validation they seek from a competition.
Absolutely. See, it's that's what competition does.
Right.
It prepares you, it teaches you not only to win, it
Right.
also teaches you for life.
Right.
And I think in culinary world, and I think YCO, the Olympiad, I think the biggest learning, and that's something that I've always maintained, is sports.
Sure.
That teaches you for life. I say this, that if you're hiring people, then in your organization, hire people from with a background of sports.
Sure.
So my younger daughter, who's a sports person, I have seen her commitment right from childhood, that discipline, that she wants to win at all costs. She would prepare, she would practice.
Good.
That is something which a competition like this does. It prepares you for life.
Sure.
And even if you don't win, there's hope that you'll win tomorrow.
Absolutely. Another phrase that has been ringing in our ears very positively is collaboration. Of course, there's this competition, but there is competitive collaboration. And this time, as you would have heard, one particular event or competition that stood out was the Dr. Suborno Bose Challenge, because that was the only platform where countries with diverse cultures, uh, different languages that the two partners could not understand, all led to the language of food talking beyond the language of their mother tongue, for instance. And we saw this in different collaborations, uh, which just goes on to show that at the end of the day, food overrides so many barriers, and that came out clearly. I did you get a sense of that from whatever you heard so far?
See, I've always believed that competition actually is collaboration. It's just that no collaboration is between people. Competition is between
Sure, sure.
people. It is
Hmm.
so it is set of people who want to be together. It's a decision made.
Right,
It's not people who are not part of that group,
right.
people who are outside. So I say, to win, you have to be in. That in, once you are in, you have decided to collaborate, and out of that, winning. So it is.
That's a great phrase.
So it yeah. So it's something which is uh, interweaved so well that no competition can happen without collaboration. None, none. That's how I always believe that to bring people together. That's the first task,
Right, right.
right? And then there the collaboration starts while competing also. So it's not, and it happens every day. We collaborate and compete within
Ways.
family, with your parents and kids and
Sure,
other
sure.
friends, everything. So that's life. So I have never said that collaboration is different from competition.
Right, right. Chef, the other touch point that I'd like to bring in is to internationalize the YCO experience beyond the YCO period. See, what happens is that we are together for these 8 days,
Sure.
and the mentors go back and the students go back to the different campuses. Uh, from your learning so far, how can we make this experience linger and move forward in the countries from where the students coming from, for them to spread the ICO word beyond their campuses into their national ecosystem,
Correct.
to see that this movement spreads further?
I think that's a very good thought, and this is something that had been nudging Dr. Bose, that it's not only an event. Don't just look at it as an event.
Sure.
Uh, Make sure that you break the shackles of this as a just a 7, 8, 10 days
Absolutely. Correct.
annual event. Look at it beyond that, and for that you have to move out of your comfort zone. And I'm glad that this year that comfort was shaken,
That's
and then I can say that I was instrumental in doing that. I said
precisely, yes.
that don't look at it only from something that happens, opening happens in Delhi and finale happens in Kolkata.
Correct.
That's why you saw that went to Goa,
Yes.
right? So it is when you start to think like this, then world is your oyster. Today it's Goa, tomorrow it would be Guatemala, right? So to achieve that, you have to seed, you have to then work on a kind of how you work on a curriculum, how you work on a calendar,
Correct. Correct.
right? That's something. It's a process, but for that, somebody has to own YCO as how you have different IIHM colleges.
Correct.
There's a director, principal, and there is everything. Currently, it's somebody, there has to be an owner for YCO.
Yeah, you need to etch those footprints and plan.
First, you need to have an owner for YCO.
Sure.
Currently, everyone is owning. It's like having a car which everyone is driving. You need one driver. You need somebody whose job is to own YCO. Once that is there, you need to have a plan, which is not that this happens in this time. No, no, no. It's a full calendar. But I think that has been seeded. If that question is asked, it will happen.
Right, absolutely. Chef, you've been an absolute icon in integrating uh, intelligence first and then advanced intelligence, because we no longer call it artificial intelligence because there's nothing artificial about it. Into the system much before people thought of this. And you were just speaking so proudly and passionately about the content role that you've played in giving content and putting it into Amazon and Microsoft and all that. Then of course that involves the same things that we are talking about. Uh, right now we've IHM has also taken that leap forward to integrate AI into hospitality and hospitality education, and that process is very much on. And of course, Dr. Bose has just released a iconic book on the whole A to Z of hospitality and merging the two, where tech and touch come together, right? Uh, how important is it, according to you, to ensure that we take advantage of AI into different processes of both hospitality and hospitality education?
I think there's no question that technology has always played a very important role,
Right.
and it'll continue to play.
Yes.
And these are just tools. Technology is a tool. Technology is not something which will have a soul. So you bring that soul into it. So you understand what the purpose is. You bring soul into it and use technology as a tool,
Right.
and you would lead. So it's not something that technology. Even if let's say people talk of generative AI, right?
Sure.
It's a tool. As long as we are taking help of tools, I think we can achieve leadership position. But for that, the purpose has to be clear. What is the purpose? And it's once that is there. For example, when I talked about CV Power smart speakers,
Right.
how you have
Right.
Alexa, Apple has. So, if there is a need for people to have content, then there is, you can go on to YouTube. But I'm like podcast,
Sure.
right?
What are you doing now?
It was actually a audio first device,
That's right.
right?
And we're doing both now.
Now we are doing both now. But audio is something that is the first medium for podcast. That's how it started.
Absolutely. Correct.
Even now, the more usage is of audio, because
Very much so,
that's
yes.
yeah, because that can happen without video. You can do it when you're driving. You can do it in many ways. Same way, when you have content, video. I've been doing shows. I have TV channel and all of that. But how do you do something when people are in their kitchen, and how do you enable? So we build something which is cook along. Then powered Amazon Alexa's speakers with it. So today, if you go onto any smart speaker and ask any recipe, chances are that on back of it, that recipe has been provided by us. Now, this is something that we started working, but we the need was not the speaker. Need was how to cook, how to make it easy.
Correct. Correct.
So our focus is that how do we do hand holding in cooking? That is the purpose. It could be through video, through dissemination of that, could be through a TV channel, could be through YouTube, could be through other social media, or because of whatever.
Sure.
Or could be one-on-one classroom.
Correct. Chef, you mentioned generative AI, and I was happy to hear that, because what IIHM is now planning to do is to launch an app called NamAIste Hospitality GPT, precisely on the generative AI concept, to ensure that it becomes a AI tool, just like Chat GPT, for different people to collaborate, with different stakeholders to collaborate, sharing of content, uh, research, search, and so on and so forth. Uh, and so the thing is, of course, it's at the concept stage, and it's getting developed, and it's an exciting, it's very exciting.
Sure.
How do you kind of react to a concept like this?
Well, I think it's brilliant, and it's something which is, I think, you would always have generic tools and you would have specialty tools. Both will coexist. So even if for today, so my phone would have everything on first home screen. There's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there is Copilot, there's DeepSeek,
Right.
right?
Right.
And if I were to ask any question to them on hospitality today, all of them would answer,
Right.
right? But when you bring a specialist on top of that, that is where real value lies. It's like a doctor, a general practitioner, and then you have somebody who's an eye specialist.
Right. Right.
There's a higher value for specialization. So to for IHM to be that specialist, they bring in that focus. World will adopt it. That's just, I think it's important to think like a specialist, behave like a specialist, develop and deliver like a specialist. And there's no stopping. So I'll like to wish IHM all the very best.
With an Indian touch, because you're calling it Namaste. Namaste.
So you have to understand what the focus is.
Yes. Yes.
You have to understand what the purpose is.
Yes.
I think that clarity of thought
Precisely.
yes, has to be very clear.
Sharp. Yes.
Has to be very clear and sharp, because otherwise, if you don't know where you are going, all roads will take you there.
Chef, tell me, we are talking about tech a lot, but would you agree that tech is no longer good to do, but have to do, as in need to do, in the sense that there's no choice. It's not something that is great here to have it, but it's literally mandatory to merge tech into hospitality.
No, I think this is not a question now, and it's not just hospitality. It's in life. It's something which it's the way you live.
Right.
It's not something that it is, oh, you have to do or not to do. If you have to live, you will not be able to live. So that is important to understand that how do you do that if you are in business of hospitality, right? When we talk hospitality, it's not that hospitality at my house or your house.
Sure.
Right? You still can do that.
Yes.
But if you have to do business of hospitality, then it's you
Right.
have to, yeah. Can I communicate to you? But if I can do that. But if I'm in Bombay,
Right.
how do I communicate?
You won't send me a postcard. Yes, right. Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You began this conversation by talking of the flavors that emanated from the kitchens, but I think this conversation was even more flavorful. You infused so many ingredients into it. There were so many aspects of it, and I think we've ended up with a great dish. And thank you for your thoughts, your wisdom, and your presence here. It will surely elevate the experience of a lot of students and stakeholders who will be watching this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
IIHM.
For a great hospitality career, call 9310 50,000.